Hey everyone, this is Daniel Gracie, G2 Comics. This is part one of a comic book coloring tutorial. We're showing you how to set everything up to get ready for color. I've got a Blue Line Pro artboard in my scanner right now, and I usually scan my inks in two parts. So I go to File, Import, set it up, and choose the black and white picture or text. This is going to make it a bitmap. It's going to eliminate all the other lines and any kind of pencil marks that you may have. Adjust the quality to 300 dpi. And I always just do scan because it's going to scan the whole thing. I wouldn't preview and crop it or anything like that. This is going to scan the whole thing. So waiting on this thing to come through. And I have my first part. You can see a little bit of the pencil lines come through. That's because I press a little bit hard on some of the parts. Best thing to do is just go through and erase some of the lines there. So we're going to flip my image around. Like I said, I scan it twice, one for each side. I splice it together once I get both scans in. So same thing, import, same settings, black and white, scan it. Now the cool thing is right now I don't have to worry about this mess. You know, if there's some imperfections right here, you can take care of this later on. What we're worried about right now is getting everything set up and ready to go for color. So what I'm going to do for each of these, and you can see that I have both files or both sides right here, and they're obviously flipped to different sides. Easy fix. I just go to rotate counterclockwise. Take this one, image, rotate clockwise, and then I'll open up a new document, which is going to be in inches, and it's going to be 10 by 15. We're doing 300 dpi. We're going to do CMYK. This is a big thing right here. When you set up your document, you have to decide whether it's going to be for print or for web or viewing on the monitor. CMYK is perfect for print. That's the standard. RGB is going to be for putting out web comics and that kind of thing. So if you're going for print, I suggest that you go CMYK. Everything else, background contents really don't matter, just your personal preference. I just leave it at default white. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to take these, Control A, select all, paste it. Oops. Z. Okay. Copy. Control C, Control V, paste it. Go to my next one. Control A, Control C, Control V. I've got my images. I'm not even worrying about these two things right now. I'm just going straight into my big image. The reason that I chose 10 by 15 as well while I'm getting this prepared here is that comic book full bleed size after it's trimmed out is going to be 7 by 10.5 or something like that. Or actually 7 by 10.5 is your full bleed size before it's trimmed out, and 10 by 15 actually scales down to that. So I like working at a big scale and then sizing it back down to 7 by 10.5 at the end. But anyway, that comes later on. So I've got my image here. I'm bringing them both together. You can see that they're both on a different layer. I'm trying to set them up as best as I can. And then we got a little problem here with the line, so I'm just going to take that line straight out of here. Just, cut that line straight out. Now most of you won't have problems with this. I have a scanner that's giving me a lot of trouble, so I have to kind of go through and do this stuff here, but it should be pretty easy for most of you while you're doing this. So line everything up. You know, I think this is pretty well lined up. Nope. Mess around with it. I'm not going to really spend too much time right here because it looks pretty close. So I select both layers right here, and I'll Control E and merge them together. So now I've got them all on one layer. I can move it around wherever I want. I have that background layer as white, so that keeps everything there. There's no transparency. So I'm going to take the feet down here to where I had it. And what I'm going to do here, this is the big kicker. I zoom in, and this is what the black and white scans looks like. Crisp edge, that's what you want. That's what you want before you color. You want these crisp edges to your inks. So what I'm going to do is sometimes I like to size mine up. So since I think she's pretty small on the page, I want her to be very, very large and take over the page. I'm going to do it something like this. Make sure you leave some space for some trim, because you are going to have some trim lines around there. You got to bleed it all the way out. So once I've sized this up, this is another thing you need to watch out for. The crisp lines disappear, and now they become anti-aliased lines. And we'll go over that when we start getting everything ready for color once I have my image totally set up. You don't want this. So what I'm going to have to do is once I have my image perfected to the size that I want, I'm going to go to Image, Mode. I'm just going to backtrack. Flatten, that's fine. Image Grayscale, Image Mode, Bitmap. We're going all the way back. 300, 50% threshold. Now we have it back to where we need it. Crisp lines, very easy fix. I think a lot of people probably overlook that. I've overlooked that a lot in the past before I started zooming in and really getting deep into the coloring, in detail, and actually, realize that I'm not really working with a crisp edge here. So now we're back at Bitmap. So all we need to do right here is just go back and reverse the process. Image, Mode, Grayscale, Size Ratio 1, Image, Mode, CMYK, because we're working for print. Okay, so we have our image pretty much ready to go right now. Now we're ready to separate our black lines from anything else. We need to move our black lines to the front. I work in channels because it's going to save you a lot of space, and it's easier when you start flatting and choosing color to be able to have that all separated. So what I do is click on my black layer, duplicate channel, click OK. You want to double click your back. If this is the first time you've done this, you want to make sure that you double click your back copy. If it doesn't look like this, selected areas checked and 100% opacity, total black. If it does not look like that, what you want to do is you want to change it to that. Hit OK, go to File, Save, and save it to your desktop as trash, and then put it in the recycle bin, get it off your computer, and then restart this whole process again. Once you do that, every time that you do this, it's gonna work out. Sometimes if you don't do that, you'll go through and you'll see like red outlines, or different areas won't be able to be selected the same way as you would normally have it if you have your black copy at 100% black. So right now I have my black copy, and I'm going to select CMYK, and I'm going to fill with white, and also the Photoshop shortcut for fill is Control F5, or Shift F5, sorry, and you can choose whatever settings you like. So now I have CMYK all white. My black copy is here. It's turned off and on. Now, no matter how many times you do this, or what way you do this, every time you have your black copy, you're always going to have kind of a grayish black copy. So the easy fix for that is to select your black copy, go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and the uniform way to get that black is 25. Hit OK. And now you've got your black lines. Everything is crisp, right where you need it. Your size is there. It's pretty much ready for color right now. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be selecting CMYK, and you're going to be working in the channels. This background layer is going to be all of your color right here. And it'll save you a lot of space, and it'll allow you to select different areas of color easily, and just really maneuver around your whole project a lot easier and a lot better, and save you a lot of space just in case you have some kind of collaborations that you want to go back and forth with and that kind of thing. So this is part one. We're going to get back into the coloring and laying down flats in part two. What I suggest is that once you go through this process, or when you're going through this process, make an action out of it. I think I have it right here, comic setup. Control Shift F12, I just kind of put my own shortcut on there. So when I open up my, when I have my image sized, and I go back and turn it into a bitmap, that everything that once I have it all set up, I can use my action and get right back to this really quickly. So this is part one, and we'll get back into flatting and laying down color theory. I'm hoping to tie this down to about 5 parts, but it might be a little more since I seem to be long-winded in some of these, but that's where we're at right now. So we'll be back pretty soon, hopefully in the next couple of days, and we'll do some color on this. Till then.